Okay, and so I've already done a scan of the Jill Masterson card before I put her in the magnetic one touch there. As you recall, corners were 78, centering 84, edges 80, surface was 85, and overall score of an 82, which gets her into a PSA 8 sort of range. And so looking at the actual scan, so again, this is a scan with the Epson V600 scanner, so the same scanner that you would use with your Homebase. A great advantage of the Epson Homebase setup would be that, of course, you'd use it for Cardscore scans. You could also use it as a home scanner, as I've done here. So I was kind of surprised at first when I got the score back with the corners, because at first glance, just looking at it, the corners looked okay. But when you zoom in, and this is analogous to how scorers would zoom into the into your image from the Cardscore app. And this is about the again, analogous to that process. You can begin seeing a bit of rounding here in that corner, and scrolling up, edge looks oh, look at that. Yeah, some damage in the edge there. Certainly some damage in the edge here. A little bit of hair hanging out in my scan. Some issues in this top edge. Certainly all down the edge. Oh, this corner is pretty dinged up as well. And again, you do not see that on the actual card itself, just looking at it. But once you zoom in, as card scorers and graders do, that's when you really see the imperfections on the card. And this one in particular. So all four corners showed signs of wear. We'll get back to Michael Jordan here shortly. Okay, so that was a zoom of the front of the card. Here is the back of the card. And again, just as scorers would do, zooming in here, I'm going to start on one corner and work around. That corner was actually much worse than I thought it was. And you really, again, you can see it once you know what you're looking for. But yeah, that's the worst of the 8 corners here. Not just a ding, but a bit of damage on that corner, unfortunately. Edge looks okay. Get a little bit of rounding here. Some weird piece of hair on the scan. That top edge looks okay. A little imperfection in the card there. There's that weird hair we saw earlier. Not a complete 90-degree edge there, which is what we'd want to see. And again, not a complete edge here, the way we'd want to see as well. So in terms of a corner score of 78, really can't disagree with that. And then in terms edges as well, edges scored an 80. Really can't disagree with that as well, especially the front top edge that shows signs of some damage. Let's see, centering, I scored an 84 on that. Backside distance from here to here and from here to here looks okay, maybe just a slightly bit more on this end. It's cool this card has a border, an obvious border you can gauge this with. Top of the card on the back, maybe a little bit more room than the bottom of the card. And then going back to the front of the card and zooming back out. Yeah, I knew this when I sent it in. This edge is certainly wider than that edge, which is going to throw the centering off. And then from that bottom line to the bottom, that is shorter than from the top here to to the top. So so yeah, I can understand that that score as well. And then the surface was the highest mark. I scored an 85. And when you zoom in here, not a whole lot of surface wear and tear. I mean, it is this card is 1993, but no creases, no tears. So not much in the way of surface issues here. I mean, the backside of this was probably white at one point, maybe a little bit faded. But overall, can't really complain with the score. Actually, a pretty decent score. Okay, and now the second card that I sent in, all right, was this 94 Jordan card. Again, like this card, Jordan sitting on the center court logo here. All right, and that card. All right, so this one got an 82 for the corners, and let's zoom in a little bit and check out those corners here. Okay, so again, you don't really it's a little bit hard to tell. Certainly hard to tell by the naked eye when you're just looking at the card. I mean, you could see a little bit of something going on there just by the naked eye without magnification. But certainly when you magnify it like this, you can see the damage on the bottom end of that card, as well as a bit of a scratch mark there that probably affected the surface score as well. Edge looks okay, except for that ding right there. That would have impacted the score. A couple dings there, some weird hairs from the scan, a ding here, corner damage up there as well. And this, ooh, that is a definite dent on the top of the card that is really hard to tell. But once you see it on the magnified version, yeah, there's a bit of damage on the top of the card, right above the A in basketball, unfortunately. And right above that A. All right, so then I can I understand the edge score of 84 just because of that mark. Scrolling over, yeah, some corner damage on that corner. Missing some gold there at the end of Jordan. So some surface damage. Tiny ding there on the edge. Another ding there. Two dings here. And that corner is not great either. Alright, and then flipping over to scan of the back of the card. And zooming in as our card score graders would. There we go. All right, so back this end of the card doesn't look bad. A little bit of dirt there. Some dings and a little bit of dings and some dust and dirt. I thought I did try to clean this card off before I sent it in. In general, you want to clean your cards off for your scores before the scan, just as if you're sending it to PSA or anyone else. Yeah, some damage on the top corner here. Another ding here. Damage and spots all along the top. There goes that big ding that we saw on the front side. The damage across the top. Corners, the back corners are not as bad as the front corners, but still I can see where the 82 score on the corners is clearly justified. And then the edge damage here along the edge, more along there. Some stray hairs on the scan. Again, underscoring the importance of cleaning the scanner before scanning. More edge issues, and that corner isn't horrible. And some bit of dirt or a smudge or something that shouldn't be there. Bottom corner, I think that's a hair. Actually, could be an imperfection of the card. In any case, it's hard to see that by the naked eye without magnification. Oops, without magnification. All right. Now, in terms of centering, got an 87 on that. That was actually the highest score. Overall, the card, at least the back of the card, I believe the front is as well, the card itself is inherently asymmetrical. So not a whole lot of terms of landmarks, no borders like that last card had, the Joe Masterson card to go by. So in general, looking at the bottommost piece of printing and the edge compared to the topmost piece of printing and the edge, there's more room at the top than the bottom. Looking at the sides, it's kind of hard to tell. Because again, the card is inherently asymmetrical. Going back to the front of the card and zooming out. Again, the front of the card is also asymmetrical. Interestingly, I wonder if it's supposed to be printed like that. The S in Heroes nearly hangs off of the edge of the card. So maybe this card is supposed to be more toward the left. I should go online and find a PSA 10 version of this to compare it to. But in any case, if that is the case, it does look like some of the S is cut off. So I can see where, even if it's supposed to be that way, it would throw off scores. It would throw me off. I'd ding this card if I was scoring it. So edges only scored an 84, and the surface scored a 86. The second highest score that the scorers gave me for this card. Don't recall anything. I did see a little bit of the gold. Was it up here? Yeah. Some of this had rubbed off, and you could sort of see where. Yeah, it looks like this card is off center because you wouldn't think the S would hang off like that. Yeah, I'm not seeing some dust in places. Maybe I should have wiped down. Those are cool shoes. Maybe I should have wiped the card down more before I sent it in for the scan, and so that's probably on me. I shouldn't make it a judgment call for my scorers to decide for themselves if it's a dust issue on the scan because of the scan, or a dust issue on the card. Here's a bit of dirt or something that could be either dirt or on the scan. Depending on how the scorers interpreted surface or edge, they would have, this could have been surface damage or edge damage. So yeah, I get that. All right, some weirdness and specs going on here. And this, I think, is in the scan because I don't see that on the card. All right, so I've got to do a better job of wiping the scanner. The official best practice is, one of those little cloths you clean your glasses with. Just doing a quick in one direction wipe of the scanner to remove dust like that. Okay. But I mean, overall, especially once you zoom into it, can't really disagree with the two scores that I got on these two cards. I'm actually pretty happy with an 85 and an 82. So so very much looking forward to putting these two cards on my card shelf. So so thanks again for watching, and until next time.